So it is week 5 of the NFL season. You know what that means? It is time to predict once again. So last week we went 10-6, which is weird because that's actually the third time this year in 4 weeks that I've gone 10-6. That brings my record to this. And yeah, so honestly, pretty good. As long as I could stay above 500 the whole year, I'm doing pretty good, and especially because I thought last week was really bad. But either way, let's just get straight into it. So the first matchup of week 5 is the Niners at the Rams, Thursday night football at SoFi Stadium. And as the day I'm recording this, it's weird because so the Niners, they don't know who knows if Purdy's gonna play, because they said apparently he wasn't feeling that good yesterday as the day I'm recording this. But and then they say Pearsall is also dealing with a PCL injury. Meanwhile, for the Rams, injury wise, I think it's just Devontae dealing with the hamstring, especially because it's a short week. They didn't use him that much last week. But obviously the Rams coming off of a pretty, I don't know what to say, a win. Like, because so look at the win they got, the Colts helped a lot, but I feel like it made up for us helping the Eagles a lot when we choked the week before. But with that being said, I think the Rams are going to beat the Niners. I think at home they'll carry the momentum. Hopefully the Dodgers already clinched by then, because if not, then it's going to make my Thursday a lot stressful. But I think the Rams will win this game 25-22. So for the first matchup of Sunday, it is the Vikings at the Browns in London. So back-to-back international games for the Vikings. The Vikings, I'll be honest, I didn't watch the international game because it was 6 in the morning West Coast time. So yeah, I was not gonna watch Carson Wentz at 6 in the morning. But I think the Vikings will bounce back this week. The Browns, they honestly held up for a long time against the Lions. It was just a matter of time till they were gonna turn the ball over, and they did a lot. But I think the Vikings should easily win this game. I feel like it'll be 28-20. So for our first normal slate is the Cowboys at the Jets. So the Cowboys last week, they tied with the Packers, but they low-key could have won. They probably should have won, but that play calling on that final overtime possession and when they got to first and goal was not good. Meanwhile, the Jets, the day I'm recording this, they're going to play Monday night. So I don't know how they are right now. They could be 1-3. They could be 0-4. But I don't know. I feel like Justin Fields leaves a lot to be desired from this offense, especially considering how good their skill positions are. I mean, Braylon Allen, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson. But I think Dallas will ultimately win this game. I feel like Dallas should probably win this 29-30. So for the Tank Bowl, aka the Giants at the Saints, the Giants pulled off an upset last week with Jackson Dart starting his first career game. They get the win over the Chargers. Meanwhile, the Saints, they held up with the Bills for a while, but that's really been their story of this entire year, except for week 3, where they've been holding up with teams and they've actually put themselves in the position to potentially win, but they just can't make a lot of those plays. But with that being said, I think the Giants will win back-to-back. I feel like Dart will carry a lot of the momentum from last week into this week, and I feel like they should probably win this game pretty easily, to be honest. They held the Chargers up pretty well, so I think the Giants will win this game 35-28. So for the next matchup is the Colts hosting the Raiders. And last week the Raiders had a shot to win the game. Obviously, they had a chance to make a field goal at the end, but it ended up getting blocked. What's up with all these block kicks, by the way? I'm just going to point that out. And the Colts, they had many opportunities to take the lead and potentially even win against the Rams. I mean, obviously, everyone knows AD Mitchell dropping the ball at the goal line. But then also, when they were up by 4, they got the ball, they got a fumble, and they actually had the ball in the red zone and a chance to basically put the game away almost. But they settled for a field goal, then the Rams would end up tying it. And then on the next drive after that, Jonathan Taylor would have a 52-yard touchdown. It was a crazy run, but AD Mitchell held, or he didn't even hold, he fucking tackled Darius Williams. And they would end up losing that game. But that was the first time they turned over the ball the entire season. They turned the ball over 3 times last week. But I think they'll bounce back at home against the Raiders, who just, Geno Smith is not good. Ashton Jeanty finally started to pop off. He went back to his normal Michael Myers stance, and it actually worked. So fuck you, Chip Kelly. But I think Geno Smith is I don't know, he's gonna get picked apart by this defense. And I think the Colts should win this game 22-13. So for the next matchup of the week is the Dolphins at the Panthers. And I haven't seen the Dolphins play yet this week. because obviously I'm recording this on Monday. But I ultimately think that Carolina should just easily win this game. Carolina looked bad last week, but they looked good the week before. They're a very weird team, to say the least. Meanwhile, the Dolphins haven't looked good at all this year. Who knows if that changes this Monday, though? So I'm kind of taking the risk by taking the Panthers. But I think the Panthers should win this game. It'll be low scoring, though. It'll be like 12-13. So for the next matchup of the week is the Broncos at the Eagles. And this should be interesting. The Eagles almost choked. They did the sort of opposite of what they did last week, where they were dead offensively in the first half, revived in the second. They were alive in the first half, but then they died in the second, as Hurts literally didn't complete a fucking pass in the second half. They're winning games on all three phases. They had a block punt for a touchdown. Meanwhile, the Broncos, they haven't looked as good as everyone wanted them to be. Bo Nix is he's sort of in a sophomore slump. I can't tell officially until tonight, okay, until they play the Bengals. If they lose, then yeah, he's in a sophomore slump. If not, then that might be good. But their defense just hasn't looked that good. As much as everyone was saying they had defense one potentials, they just haven't looked that good at all. But with that being said, I still think the Eagles should easily win this game. I think it'll be sort of a dogfight. It'll be 31-32. So for the next matchup of the week is the Texans at the Ravens. If you would have told me both these teams were 1-3 at this point of the season, I would have just said you're crazy. But yeah, they're both 1-3. I feel like though they're two different 1-3 teams, because the Texans have had opportunities in almost every single game. It's just they can't block for CJ Stroud. They can't block to save his life at all. And they just traded another O-lineman, Cam Robinson. They traded him away. So I don't know what the hell they're cooking. But the Ravens, they just got destroyed by the Chiefs. That was one of those games that, I don't know. Lamar Jackson, who knows if he's hurt or if he just tapped out, but Henry looked bad. Their defenses looked bad this entire season. I don't know why, but I think this will be an upset. I think the Texans are going to beat them. I think the Ravens will fall to 1-4. I think Stroud will have a good game. Nico Collins will continue to produce. And yeah, I think the Texans will win this game, with the final score being 22-18. So for the first afternoon slate of the week is the Titans at the Cardinals. And this is an interesting one because the Cardinals looked dead on that Thursday night game until like the fourth quarter, and then they just suddenly revived and almost sent it to overtime. But then the Titans, they looked horrible. Even Cam Ward said that, keep it a buck, we're ass right now. And I think they're going to continue to be ass. I think they're going to lose to the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I don't know, they're not that good, but they got the easiest part of the schedule to start off. I think they'll beat them, and it won't be close. It'll be like 10-32. So for the next matchup is the Bucks at the Seahawks. And this one is a pretty interesting one because both these teams, they're both on the rise. I mean, the Bucks 3-1, the Seahawks are 3-1. So this is actually a pretty good game. But I think Seattle coming off that Thursday night win and the Bucks coming off a loss, I think the Bucks are gonna bounce back in this game. Because the Bucks, I don't know, there were some plays they should have made, but a lot of their stuff they got was on long touchdowns, especially to Bucky Irving and to Emeka Ibuka. Meanwhile, the Seahawks, I don't know, their offense is good, okay. The offense, I don't know, the offense is better than I thought, and their defense is worse than I thought, especially their corners. I don't know. Witherspoon, he got mossed by Marvin Harrison. Woolens looked bad, but I think the Bucks will continue to win, or not continue to win, but they'll start another winning streak, okay. I think they'll win 24-30. So the next one is another battle of the cats, the Lions versus the Bengals. So we haven't seen the Lions, or not the Lions, we haven't seen the Bengals play, obviously, but based off of what we have seen with them with Jake Browning, they look terrible, and I think they'll continue to look terrible. I feel like the Lions have come in off of a couple good wins. However, they haven't played anyone really good, to be honest, and it reminds you a lot of last year when they were just stat padding against bad teams. But I think they'll stat pad again against the Bengals. Their defense is not that good, and Jake Browning he's all right, but we'll have to see what he does this Monday for me to fully be safe with it. But yeah, I think the Lions should easily win this game, with the final score being 35-17. So for the last afternoon slate game is the Chargers hosting the Commanders, and they say that Jay Daniels should be back, which they're gonna need him to be back, because I mean their offense was actually doing pretty solid with Mariota. It was just a couple plays that Jaden Daniels would make that Mariota couldn't. And the Chargers, they just got upset by the Giants, which it felt sort of predictable, to be honest. I don't know why there was that feeling that they were gonna lose, but Herbert didn't play that good. I mean, he made some pretty good throws, but he also, some picks were crazy, like the one to Dexter Lawrence. But with that being said, I think that the Chargers will bounce back and get another win at home, even though it's our home. But I think they'll bounce back and get a win. I think they'll beat the Commanders 22-27. So for the Sunday night football is the Patriots at the Bills, and this game has a recipe for disaster. The Bills, they looked sloppy last week, but it was, I don't know, they made the plays when they needed to, which was obviously when you make plays you need to. There's nothing bad about that. But the Patriots got a big win over the Panthers, but it's not saying much because it's the Panthers. But I think the Bills will easily blow them out. Why does it feel like the Bills always play at home? I don't know why. Like 4 times in 5 weeks playing at home is kind of crazy, but I think they'll beat the Patriots, and it won't be close. It'll be like 35-10. So the final matchup of the week is the Chiefs at the Jaguars, Monday Night Football, and both these teams are coming off of big wins. Obviously, the Chiefs blew out the Ravens, while the Jaguars had a really good game against the Niners where they would force 3 turnovers and they forced 4 turnovers actually. But yeah, obviously prime time in Jacksonville. This is like the second Monday Night Football game, second Monday Night Football game in Jacksonville in like what I think it was in like forever basically. But yeah, I think that the Jags will probably lose, to be honest. As much as I want to say Travis Hunter looked decent, he's playing more offense than defense. Brian Thomas is still scared to catch the ball for some reason, and even on the sideline, he only had 1 foot in and he didn't even try to get the 2nd foot in. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, their offense is back with Worthy. They're starting to click. If they can start getting a productive run game from Pacheco or Hunt, it's going to be dangerous. But I think the Chiefs easily win this game 28-15. So there it is. Those are all my predictions for week 5. Comment down below if you guys think your favorite team is going to win. And yeah, obviously come back for next week to see how these week's predictions go. But yeah, as always, thank you guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, do all that fancy stuff. And as always, I don't know how to end these things, but